For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. In All Elite Wrestling, Hangman Adam Page is the #1 contender, and he is getting the next shot at AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. And it makes for a good story if you followed the company from its inception. Hangman Page was in the finals of the tournament to crown the inaugural AEW champion, but he lost to Chris Jericho. Then there was a tournament to crown tag team champions, and the first tag team champions was SCU, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. But the second AEW tag team champions was a team comprised of Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. Over time, the team dominated the tag team scene, but then over time, the team would lose the titles to FTR. And Kenny Omega would make the decision, hey, I need to go out on my own and do my own thing. I need to be the best bout machine, the cleaner. I need to work my way to the World Championship. And ultimately, he did. Jericho had the belt, lost it to Moxley. Moxley had the belt, lost it to Omega. But the story was Hangman Page, because in the course of Kenny Omega working his way to the world title, he became a heel. And Hangman decided he wasn't going to be a heel. He needed to go out on his own, and he needed to do his own thing. So he separated himself from the Elite, feeling like he was the weak link, feeling like he was the fourth Beatle, he was Ringo, for those of you old enough to get that reference, or Tito Jackson, feeling like he was the least important member of the team. So he went out on his own to do his own thing. And the other members of the Elite made fun of him, and they all turned heel, and the rest is history. But while Hangman Page was discovering himself, he was befriended by the Dark Order. And so he started hanging out with the Dark Order, and they became friends, and he was a part of their group. And if you watched Being the Elite, the YouTube show that the Young Bucks produce, Hangman Page became a member of the Dark Order. Not a member of the Dark Order. Hangman Page befriended the Dark Order and was an associate of the Dark Order. But then Hangman Page continued to work his way through the ranks, winning matches, and became the #1 contender for Kenny Omega's World Championship. And so now we have the stage set. The fourth Beatle, the fourth member of the Elite, the guy who went out on his own, Hangman Page, would be challenging Kenny Omega for the World Championship. But on his way to that title match, Hangman told the Dark Order there were things he needed to do, and he needed to do them on his own. So that became the story. Hangman wanted to go out on his own. He appreciated the Dark Order having his back, but he had some things he needed to work out. So during the course of time, Hangman became the story in AEW. He wanted to go out on his own. Half of the Dark Order agreed with it and was willing to let him do what he wanted to do. The other half of the Dark Order didn't agree with it and always wanted to be there. Infighting began in between the members of the Dark Order. The Dark Order women, Ty Conti and Anna Jay, were torn because they didn't know what to do, but they wanted the team to get back together. Members of the Dark Order were fighting amongst themselves such that Alex Reynolds and John Silver were on different sides. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno were on different sides. Preston Vance and Alan Angels were on different sides. The three regular tag teams within the Dark Order seemed to all be split, and Colt Cabana had to choose a side. And the women just wanted them to get back together and be a unit. -1, Brody Lee's son, wanted them to get back together and be a unit. And then, just as Hangman's getting ready to get his title match, his wife gets pregnant and he goes off to be with his wife while she's having a baby, which was the legitimate story. But the on-camera story was that he just left. So now the Elite get to make fun of him for being a coward, for running away, for not wanting his title match, for not being ready, or whatever they're going to say. So Hangman is still the story because the Dark Order is still feuding within themselves. The women are torn. Hangman's off MIA. Alex Reynolds leaves because on TV, kayfabe, he's upset with how things are going and he just doesn't want any part of it anymore, when in fact he was also with his wife who was also having a baby. But Then the Dark Order gets back together. They reform, they put their differences aside. They start feuding with the Elite, and something miraculous happens. Hangman Page returns to AEW television. And now, with his return, AEW holds a ladder match, a casino ladder match, where the winner is the number one contender for Kenny Omega's world title. They have 6 entrants who earned their way in by winning qualifying matches, and then there was the Joker. And that Joker was Hangman Adam Page. He came out last, he entered the match, he won the match, he earned the world title shot, and now Hangman Page will be facing Kenny Omega for the world title. I said all that to say this. It's a great story. And if Hangman wins, it'll be an even greater story. But I don't think that it's the right time for Hangman Page to be world champion. Nothing against Page. I'm a big fan of Hangman Page. I just don't think it's the right time. I think that Kenny Omega has been a successful world champion. He's defended it successfully. He defeated Christian Cage. He went to a 30-minute draw with Bryan Danielson, and they've got another match coming up at some point, I'm almost certain. He's had the belt for over 200 days. He's fought guys in Impact. He's done everything that the company has asked him to do with the title. And I think that the chase would be more exciting now and then an ultimate victory down the line. For Hangman to come back after being gone away from the company for several months, win a ladder match, become number one contender, go into the title match, become champion, I think that's too much. I think that's rushed. I think Hangman needs more time to build himself as a credible contender. What I'd like to see is for AEW to treat the match the way New Japan does. Maybe not give him his title match at the first pay-per-view. Let him hold the briefcase, let him hold the contract for a little while, and force him to have to defend it a couple of times. Beat a couple of top contenders just so that he's truly the top guy heading into the championship match. And then he looks more credible. Not that he doesn't look credible now. Please don't misunderstand me. I know how the internet does these things. You say one thing that sounds negative and all of a sudden everybody wants to crush you. What I'm saying is make him more credible. Make him more legitimate as a contender. Make him a bigger number one contender. So then when he does win, which I think he will, when he does win, he is as credible a world champion for AEW as Chris Jericho, the first champion, was, as Jon Moxley, the former WWE star, was, as Kenny Omega, the former New Japan star, who was the first American to win the G1 Climax tournament. He's as legitimate and as credible a champion as the other 3 guys who've been champion, because let's face it, Hangman Page does not have the resume of a Chris Jericho, or as a Jon Moxley / Dean Ambrose, or as Kenny Omega. He's not on that level. So I say, let's put him on that level. Let's have him defend his title shot a few times. Let's have him go over to Impact and have a few matches with some of their top guys and beat them. Let's make Hangman Page more credible so that when he faces Kenny Omega and defeats him, then he is as credible a world champion as Chris Jericho or Jon Moxley or Kenny Omega. That's what I think. Ironic, isn't it? Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. And follow me on Facebook at Eric J on Sports 1 and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J on Sports. And for Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J. And this is what I think.